Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Bible in Order, where we are chronologically going through the entire Bible in one year. Today's reading for January 28th is Genesis chapters 46 and 47, the reunification of Joseph with his father Jacob. What a reunion that must have been. It's been at least 20 years. Joseph was 17 when he was sold into slavery. He was 30 when he entered Pharaoh's service. They had 7 years of plenty before the 7 years of drought and famine began. So 37 at least before the first famine. And it might have been a year, 2, 3 years. We don't know how long it was that the famine was raging in the land before his brothers came to buy grain. But we know it had to have been at least 21 years or so. Of course, Jacob never thought he'd see his son. He had been mourning his loss for more than 2 decades. But when he's reunified and he sees that Joseph has ascended to the heights of the leadership that God had ordained for him to go into, he said he was ready to go. He was ready to die. I wonder if Jacob knew of the prophetic word that God had given Abraham, that his people, his descendants, would be strangers in a foreign land, that they would be enslaved for 400 years. I wonder if Jacob saw it, that this was the beginning of the prophecy. Isn't that interesting? I wonder, did Abraham tell his son Isaac? Did Isaac tell Jacob? Did Jacob tell Joseph and his other sons? Somebody had to have been recording this. Most people believe that Moses wrote this book. It was an oral history passed down all the way to Moses. Moses doesn't come on the scene for another 400 years. Isn't it interesting that God used this series of events of Joseph being sold into slavery, Joseph being lied about and thrown in jail by Potiphar's wife, Joseph meeting the cupbearer and then wasting away in prison for another 2 years beyond that before he enters Pharaoh's service. All of these circumstances, God used Joseph to interpret the dream of Pharaoh. God used that prophetic vision and ability to interpret dreams in order to save Egypt, to make Egypt a long-standing powerhouse economy. God used this famine to make Egypt rich and Pharaoh rich, but he also used it to save the descendants of Abraham. And then that thing that God used turned into the thing that enslaved them for 400 years. Is there anything God's ever used in your life to save you that has later enslaved you? Some things start off good, but then they take control of us. And that, my friends, is something that we must be aware of, because a lot of times God will call us to a place, but he doesn't intend for us to stay there. God might send you to a church for a season to glean something new, to learn a new teaching, but then he'll call you on sometimes. He might tell you to move to a new city, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be there forever. Pray and seek the Lord on this. What is it? Is there anything, any good gift from the Father that has become an idol, that has become a taskmaster? Anything that's enslaved us? God bless you, my friends. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We'll see you tomorrow.